KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
What's good, party people? This is Krunkadelic and Heidi Waumboldt from the ISET Hour.
Hey, you guys. Tune in Fridays at 3 p.m. PST. We'll be broadcasting live from Riverside, California on 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM.
And if you're on the East Coast, come check us out in the New York and New Jersey area at 6:20 a.m. and in Tampa at 14:90 a.m.
We have a big show for you. And if you want to hear more, go to www.theisethour.com. Hey, everyone. You are listening to the ISET Hour. This is our first episode. It is Friday, May 21st, and I'm your host, Heidi Waumboldt. Thank you so much for joining us today. The ISET Hour, since it's a new show, is the best new show in the USA, hosted by myself and produced by Krunkadelic. You can listen in live Fridays at 3 p.m. PST on 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM on KCAA in Riverside, California. Today, we have some very special guests for you, some of my close personal friends who you all may have heard of as well. Today, we have the incredible Leola Foreman, the incredible George Red Foreman, and Ron the American Dream Johnson. And we're going to be talking to you today about boxing. To give you a little background about our guests, Leola Foreman is a Houston, Texas native and one of 10 children of George Foreman. She is the VP of Foreman Media, and she likes to say she's the only one her dad can't get rid of. When she's not working with her father, she moonlights as a stand-up comedian. And her brother, George Red Foreman, is joining us today, also son of the legendary heavyweight champion and business icon, Big George Foreman, 10-year philanthropist working in the youth outreach and training professional and amateur boxers at the George Foreman Youth and Community Center in Houston, Texas, and a former reality TV show star from the show Family Foreman. He's also a gospel singer, songwriter, passionate about farming and agriculture and animal rescue. We also have Ron, the American Dream Johnson, who is a Cleveland, Ohio native. He started boxing at the age of 7 and had his first fight at 9 years old. As an amateur, he won a silver medal in the Pan American Games and represented the United States with the U.S. boxing team with a score of 105 wins to 9 losses. In 2004, he turned professional, scoring a third-round knockout against Cromwell Gordon in Las Vegas, and in the same year brokered a deal with Floyd Mayweather for over $4 million. He became the youngest boxing promoter and formed the company America Dream Presents, and he is heavily involved in boxing events and has curated comebacks for fighters like Hector Camacho Jr., Zab Judah, and Fernando Vargas. He has promoted events with Don King and created the Next Generation Amateur Boxing Series in Cleveland. As a current professional heavyweight boxer, Ron showcased in the first heavyweight championship fight in the Philippines since Ali and Frazier as Thrilla in Manila, now called Thrilla in Davao. As a current professional boxer, he's had 5 world titles and is the majority owner of an advertising company called Embrace AI Global with Ray J as his partner. You can find our friends on social medias at Lee Mariah Rose on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. That's sort of a tongue twister. You can find George Red Foreman at GFV Texas, and you can find Ron the American Dream Johnson at Dream Ron John. Today, we're also going to be featuring some music by new artists. These artists are very interesting and up-and-coming talent. We have Tally Schwenk, Justin Aaron, Digiana, McKenna Moore upcoming later on the show. So for now, we're going to leave you with a little music interlude while we get ready for our interviews. See you soon.
All right, everybody, let's get it. This is Krunkadelic from the ISET Hour with Heidi Waumboldt and Krunkadelic. If you're unable for any reason, for whatever circumstance, that you can't tune in live to our show on Fridays at 3 p.m. PST, and I can't imagine what could possibly be going on in your life that you wouldn't, come check us out at www.theisethour.com or follow us on our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at The ISET Hour.
We know you don't want to miss our live weekly interviews with interesting people, innovators, and influencers from around the globe.
And we're also going to be spotlighting new music from the best and most talented from all over the country, all over the world. And in between that, I'll be showing you my Riverdance challenge.
And let me tell you, that's something you don't want to miss. So see you there, y'all.
It's all in the hips.
Hey Tampa, we have the radio show for you. Tune in to the ISET Hour on 1490 AM WWPR every Friday night. Hey New York City, hey Brooklyn, hey the Bronx, hey New Jersey. It's Heidi Waumboldt from the ISET Hour. Please tune in to 6:20 a.m. to hear us live with the incredible Krunkadelic. And if you're not able to tune in to a radio, go ahead online and visit iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, or all of your other major podcast outlets. Can't wait to see you there. Hey, we're back with the ISET Hour. I am your host, Heidi Waumboldt, and I have my guests here with me. We have Leola Foreman, George Red Foreman, and Ron, the American Dream Johnson. Hey, you guys, how are you doing today?
Yeah, the last Hublot event for the retired boxers, and I'm trying to think what the.
Hey, you guys, we're live on air.
The Canelo Alvarez fight in Vegas.
Oh, they had that little convention thing over there.
You know.
Well, you guys, we're having some technical difficulties. It is our first show, so bear with us. It's going to be a great show when we can finally get all of our friends live on the air with us. But in the meantime, you get to listen to me just talk about how wonderful this show is going to be. Make sure you keep tuning in. I know you've heard it now repeated several times about how wonderful it's going to be. And let me tell you that when we get our act together, it is truly going to be wonderful. I don't know if you all are in traffic right now, but I was in traffic on the way here. And let me tell you, we are back to normal traffic levels out there in the streets. It is not a joke. There is some bumper to bumper action on the 210. So make sure you're tuned in live with the ISET Hour. This is a show you don't want to miss. Today we're going to play some games later in the afternoon. Once we get our guests all situated on the air, things are going to go incredibly well. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, folks. Okay, we're live on the air with Leola Foreman, George Red Foreman, and Ron, the American Dream Johnson. How are you guys?
We're well.
I'm so happy you all could join me. We all have a very interesting history together, and I'm just so grateful and excited you could join us on the ISET Hour. So let's get right to it. I have a lot of questions from fans who are very interested in the things that you are all up to. And so I want to start, with Leola and Red and ask you guys. First, let's start with Leola. Can you tell us, Leola, a little bit of what it's like to grow up as George Foreman's daughter? I think the whole world out here wants to know.
Well, growing up as a daughter of the greatest dad in the entire world is wonderful, except for I've been single for quite a bit because for some strange reason, people are afraid of my father.
I wonder what it is. It's so strange.
I have no idea, but, it's, to me, I have a bigger than life father, and it's just always been wonderful. So it's just like growing up with any other dad, except for I can actually be telling the truth when I said my dad can beat you up. So Even to this day.
Well,
So
I
that's
like
the
to tell people that your dad can beat them up just for fun and see what happens. And it always goes over really well, you know.
It really does. It's always really funny.
It's so good. But both you and Red, you know, have been working with your dad for so long. Leola, you're the VP of Foreman Media. And Red, I know that you're heavily involved in the George Foreman Community Center. So, Red, can you kind of walk us through what the community center is, what your mission is, and what you all are doing over there?
Yeah, so the George Foreman Youth and Community Center was started in 1983, and it all was started as a way for the kids to get off of the street and get some some real time focusing on things that don't involve nonsense. So basketball, boxing, whether weightlifting, bodybuilding, all those things were offered to the kids. And what we found was it became a lot of babysitting. But in that babysitting, we've been able to, teach the kids a lot about responsibility and just becoming good citizens. So we don't try and push to become a champion or become the greatest this or that. We just try and focus on teaching the kids how to be good people, how to be kind, and that just spreads back out into the community. That's what we've been trying to do since 1983.
That's
and
incredible.
Continue to do today.
Thank you so much for that. I know the community in Houston is so grateful for all the work that you guys have done. And, we really could use a George Foreman Community Center in every city in the country. And maybe that's something that we could see in the future. And then Ron Johnson, who's with us today. Hi, Ron. It's so great to see you. Can you hear me?
So great to see you too. How you been?
I'm great.
Yep, I can hear you really good.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you on today. And, we were just talking to Red about his work with the youth community. And you started really young boxing. I hear you started your career at only 7 years old. What was that like?
Yeah, it's so funny. I didn't look at the notes as far as when we was on the show, so I didn't know who the other guests were going to be. And I was just talking to you guys, and that's I didn't know that was Foreman's kids. That was so cool. Yeah, so that just hit me with a left hook right now. I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. But so I started boxing at the age of 7, and I'm named after my uncle who died in the ring when he was 19, a year before I was born. So boxing has always been embedded into my family, and it's been an ongoing sport. I have a little cousin right now who's on this year's Olympic team for boxing. So it's just we pass it down, and it's really good.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Leola, can you tell me your best memory associated with boxing?
Oh my goodness. It's my best memory has to be it's one is when my dad won the world championship when we were against Michael Moore. And at the time, I think it was 1995 or 1994. At the time, I didn't really understand. It was 94. I didn't understand. But then fast forward to when I'm an adult, and my dad was in a documentary, and he was doing a commentating on the fight against him and Michael Moore. And I rewatched it with, fresh adult eyes, and I am boo-hoo-hooing, crying. Like, how could they let us watch this when we were younger? Because, that was a fight that it was something that my dad fought so hard for. So it wasn't just he won the championship, but it was he won after losing it to Muhammad Ali, and then everything that we all worked on growing up with the community center and the church. And it just was the pinnacle of everything that we worked for as a family. And so that has to be my favorite growing up and now. I can't watch the fight, even clips of it, without crying. So
You sound like you're going to cry now. Try to hold it in. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this interview. Okay.
yeah.
No, but that's truly amazing. And I can't imagine what it was like to see your dad win such, a memorable fight and have that as part of your legacy as a family. Speaking of Muhammad Ali, I know Ron has a history working. Was it Muhammad Ali's daughter that you
Yes.
have a business relationship with?
Yes. Actually, Layla Ali, she moved me to Las Vegas.
Wow.
So that's how I got to Las Vegas when I was 18 years old. I lived with her and her husband at the time while she was fighting. This was in 2003. Her and her former husband, Johnny McClain. So I actually spent a lot of time with Muhammad and Layla, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So
I've never gotten the pleasure of meeting Layla. I said one day I want to, just because she seems so larger than life.
Maybe that's something we can do
really
here.
She just moved from Los Angeles to Atlanta, Georgia now. So she's in the Georgia area. I'm not going to say Atlanta, but on the outskirts of Georgia now. So.
Well, everyone's moving down south. It's better.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm around a lot of really famous people right now, and definitely people, you are all leaders in your fields and your world. And I know that Ron has I don't know, is it a new fighter up your sleeve here that a lot of people might recognize? Is that something we can talk about, Ron?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Last year I signed Logan Paul. Logan Paul, the big YouTuber, but he's a real professional boxer now. And it's causing a lot of waves. But he's a really good fighter. He dedicated himself to the sport. I wasn't a big fan of the whole celebrity fighting, and I actually learned about the Paul brothers from my kids. So my two sons, they followed them, and I didn't really know. And until I went to actually start, building a relationship with them. And I actually saw the work that they put in for boxing. They built gyms in their backyard. They, training 4 or 5 hours a day. And, so I was like, okay, wow, these guys, and they're sparring real pros, like real champions. And, I could speak for Logan more than I could speak for Jake, because I've actually spent more time with Logan, but he can really fight, and so I was glad to partner with them and invest into his career and to make some money, because they're outside of the few big names in boxing that we know, it doesn't get any bigger than Logan Paul right now.
And
I still don't take him seriously. I'm sorry.
Is he fighting Floyd?
Okay.
Who is he fighting?
Yeah, he's fighting Floyd. It's an exhibition, actually. So it'll be June 6th, Sunday, Miami, Florida.
Well, everyone needs to tune their calendars and their TVs for that. Red, I want to hear it from you. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Logan Paul or Floyd Mayweather?
I've found that calling the fight, it always goes the opposite of what I say. So I choose to, applaud both of them for being able to, especially in this time right now, put together an exhibition match, and hopefully there are fans in the building and people buying food and drinks, and that'll be something so amazing for not just America, but boxing in general.
So the winner will be the promoter.
Exactly.
So the winner's Ron. Let's all give Ron a round of applause.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't want Floyd Mayweather to get hurt. That's my thing is with these boxers, these newer celebrity boxers, I don't think they take into account how easy it is to get hurt.
Right.
So my thing is, if Floyd Mayweather, he knows what he's doing, I do not want him to get hurt. So
no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, me being in the sport since I was 7, I actually was like, walking on the eggshells by doing certain things. But like I said, he trained and have real professional guys training with them. Like, they actually, like, I can't speak for everybody who does it, but those two brothers, I know they actually really put they actually take it serious. They do goofy stuff outside of it, to keep their followers going. But
it's just like the old school Muhammad Ali versus everybody, where it's you need to drum up the attention.
Yeah. So it's like
Really
Ali fought
funny.
for Andre the Giant, or I think it was Andre the Giant. I think it was, who else was it that done it? But yeah, it's all fun and games. It's something good for the sport, and if it could bring more, hey, even better, right? So it's good time.
Hey, if Logan wants to jump up to heavyweight, tell him he got a George Foreman opponent right here.
Ooh, that would be a great. Now that is something I would watch.
Yeah, I would watch that too.
I'm willing to shave down a few pounds for him, but he's got to jump up to heavyweight.
And that's how you know you're a great fighter, if you can jump up to heavyweight and really win that division. That's the only way. That's how you can be the greatest of all around. I don't care what anybody says, but George Foreman is the GOAT. So
sure is.
Big George.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, George Foreman. It's funny because it felt like he's had like 3 different careers, from people that just from like, him from the Ali time frame, and that's the same guy who won the heavyweight title at 44, and that's the same guy with the grills. Like, it's like 3 different identities. He's had an amazing career. Career.
At least
I've heard
3
stories about that.
Yeah. I mean, he's a wonderful guy. I mean, I wouldn't mess with him still.
No, it's he wanted to. We were supposed to meet up. I had started a foundation in 2007 called Put Down the Guns, Pick Up the Gloves, and I had did it with Jim Brown had helped me launch that, the football legend, and they were telling me, hey, Big George wants to set up a meeting. This was way in 2007, but there was so many people in between us that was trying to make certain things occur, and it just didn't occur, So, but that's really cool.
It's always something that never. When there's a good thing, it'll always get done. So.
And we're all here now, which is a great thing.
I know, right?
I want to bring it to a really important thing that I've been trying to talk about, which is how often, Leola, do you use the grill, the George Foreman grill?
I keep it on my kitchen counter.
Red, what about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's forever got a permanent place on the counter. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Tonight I'm gonna make myself a nice ribeye.
Perfect. And Ron, are you thinking of going into the grill business as well at any time?
Listen, I love the grill. So I don't have one here in Vegas, but we still have one in my parents' house, and it's you can never go wrong with it. Like you say, you cook everything on there.
Yeah. It's a staple. It really is.
Veggie burgers, bacon, whatever it is.
I think I tried a Beyond Meat burger on my George Foreman grill, and I don't know if it was maybe my brain of saying like, this is great, because I don't really like vegan anything, but I was like, I can really get behind this as I put bacon fat on the Beyond
Perfect.
Meat.
That sounds my kind of vegan right there. Listen, Red, I know that recently you've been exploring a new career in sort of the agriculture industry and doing a lot of farming. I'm seeing a lot of gram photos of you with horses. Can you tell us a little bit about, this new foray and if it's something you're going to pursue long term?
So yeah, the farming aspect of my life has something that's just been there since day one. I believe my dad, he got his first set of cows in the mid-'70s, and it's just something, I just follow in his footsteps with that. Animals, like they call it livestock, is the one thing that you can't, you can't it doesn't let you down. You're always gonna need beef, chicken, horses, all those things like that. And so I just kind of immersed myself into it to try and, make sure that it's something that my children and their children can also immerse themselves in later on in life.
That's really beautiful.
Real cowboy.
Yeah, I love the photos too. I love the overalls and the hats, and it's definitely a good vibe. I'm pretty into it.
It's for purpose, not for style, I promise.
It really is. I mean, if you go if we're in East Texas, he's out there with his boots and everything. And I think one time there was a coyote that ran by when we were there for New Year's, and we're calling him on the phone like, hey, there's a coyote in the yard. And he was like, okay, I'll scope it out. And he comes with his like big hat and his goggles and everything, like sitting outside and be like, I'm going to make sure we keep our family safe. Also our goats and their chickens and everything. And I'm thinking, this boy is from Houston. How did he turn so country?
But he looks perfect in those overalls. And if you all want to see Red in his overalls, follow him at GFV Texas on Instagram and check him out. You can check out Leola at Leola Rose, Mariah Rose, right? Leola Mariah Rose.
Mariah Rose.
Jeez, can you spell that for us, Leola?
Lee, Mariah like the singer, Rose like the flower on Instagram. Once you start there, you can find me everywhere else, but I will not accept you on Snapchat. That's for private only.
Spicy. And you can check out Ron at Dream Ron John on Instagram and the other platforms. And we're going to take a quick break here and get right back to you in a minute. This is the ISET Hour with Heidi Waumboldt and Krunkadelic.
Damn, she's bad, yeah, I mean she's bad, bad. I ain't mean to let her go, I was coming right back. Te vas y lo siento, eres todo lo que pienso. No puedo sacarte de mi cabeza. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things we left unsaid. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things we left unsaid. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. No more sorries or no pleases. I used up my 3 strikes like I'm Adidas. Broke my promise to my mama that you need us. And when grandma asked what happened to that girl, I just stuttered for no reason. I'm so confused on where the love go. Nuestro amor fue rápido. Y ahora no podemos ser amigos. Guilty pleasure, pump the brakes. How can I forever say? Think that you thinking the same as me. No, we can't be friends now. You know how that ends now. Guess that's how it's supposed to be. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things we left unsaid. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things we left unsaid. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. I could tell you lying, I be in my feelings cause I'm texting, no replying. Who you think you're trying? Always playing these games, going crazy insane. Saying I'm to blame, but I don't feel the same. So my heart keeps getting in the way, I keep calling. You take all the space up in my brain, I keep falling. Oh my gosh, you stalling now, don't make this uncomfortable. Girl, you know got love for you. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things we left unsaid. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things we left unsaid. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. Come to me, ven a mí, mami, sabes lo que es, that's how it should be. You know that you're the only one that could ever be for me. Siempre en mi corazón, and only you got the key. Tú por mí, come to me, ven a mí, mami, sabes lo que es, that's how it should be. You know that you're the only one that could be for me. Siempre en mi corazón, and only you got the key. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things we left unsaid. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. Girl, you're all up in my head, you're in my head. You should be here, play fighting with me, up in my bed. Instead we're thinking back to all the things said. You got me wishing things were different, it ain't have to end. I've been on the free thing, you play, my God, I sing, my life, I've been true, wait for you, I've been true, I've been on that what you tell them, don't mean nothing if you say nothing when you mean nothing, you're cold, I've been on that you could stop around the block, the dream is hot, I reach the sky to come home, take it slowly, you don't know me yet. For you, I don't wanna hide from you like I do. I don't want a life that's not at home. I don't really know where I'm off to home. I hope that you're solid on your own. I can't really say how to find mistakes. I know that I'm trying and I'm close. My God, I sing my life. I've been true, wait for you. I've been true. I've been on that what you tell them. Don't mean nothing if you say nothing when you mean nothing. You're cold. I've been on that you could stop around the block. The dream is hot. I reach the sky to come home. Take it slowly. You don't know me yet.
Hey everybody, this is Krunkadelic from the ISET Hour with Heidi Waumboldt and Krunkadelic. Heidi, I want to ask you a couple of questions. What are the 3 things that you can't leave your house without?
My keys, which I do, my phone, which I do, and my mind, which is almost every day. I don't even know how I ended up in the studio this morning.
Well, I'm glad you made it, and since you're here, come check us out on Fridays live at 3 p.m. PST in Riverside and LA County at 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and on AM radio at 10:50 AM. And when we're on the East Coast, Heidi, where are we at?
We're going to 6:20 AM from New York, New Jersey, Brooklyn, and the Bronx, 1490 AM from Tampa. And hey, Krunkadelic, one question for you.
Yeah.
Where are we going later?
To greatness.
Hey, greatness people. Follow us for pure greatness. Go to www.theisethour.com. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check us out whenever you can on Fridays in the afternoon and evening, depending on where you live.
What's good, everybody? You're rocking with Krunkadelic and Heidi Waumboldt at the ISET Hour. I made it.
Finally, good
yes,
Lord.
Yes. That traffic's not a game. That was Diaz and Mi Cabeza and Carlina Goodthing, both amazing artists, and you need to check them out. So my apologies for being late, everyone.
Thank goodness we missed Krunkadelic. We're so happy he made it. Krunk, take a moment to say hello to our guests. We have Leola Foreman, George Red Foreman, and Ron the American Dream Johnson. Get acquainted.
It's a pleasure, everybody. I'm honored to be here with you guys. I'm a huge boxing fan. I actually boxed a little bit myself, not too much, but enough to be to respect the art.
And he and I might box after this show is over.
Definitely boxing. We're definitely boxing.
So,
Pleasure's all mine.
what did you guys
I've
think of the
never
music?
boxed, so.
Oh, good. What did you think of the music, Leola? Did you like those songs? Could you hear them?
I really liked it. The second one was that's my vibe, like that super soft, like, but that's my type of music. Sit there and like really be playing it in the background and then like doing my stripper dance back at.
Oh my gosh, your father is listening to this show, Leola.
Oh, I forgot. Whoops. Whoops.
Oh my
Figure it out.
gracious. Ron, what about you? Did you like the music?
Yeah, it was nice and smooth, nice and groovy. It was good.
We'll try to come up with a good song for Logan to use on his, promos and things.
You got any drops on the intro music? You know who the intro music is yet for the fight?
No, not yet. I'm actually going to be heading back down to Miami in the next couple of days we're going to be finishing all of that stuff.
I'm excited.
Well, there's a newest TikTok star that she just came out as a really good singer with auto-tune and everything. So that could be something.
Is it you? Who is it?
I don't know. I think it's like Bella something. She's known for making faces.
That sounds so great.
I don't know. I can't keep up.
So we have a musician in our midst in any case. Red, you are a gospel singer and songwriter. So tell us a little bit about that and if you're recording any music right now and if there's any place we can go and listen to your songs.
So yeah, I've been singing my whole life. Started off singing in church, and so that's something I still continue to do to this day. I'm currently working on the first album, the debut album. I think by the end of this year it should be out. So if you keep eye on my Instagram, you can see a little clips here of me doing the musical thing, and hopefully there'll be more to come as far as buying something or listening to something on Spotify.
He had this one song, and yeah, I know I'm his sister and I'll hype him up always, but there was this one song and I was like, where can I find it? Is it on Spotify? And he's like, no, that's just like a little track. I was like, well, can I have it so I can maybe do like a dance on TikTok? And he's like, no, thanks. And I was like, geez, but it was so good. I was so surprised because he looks like he's just a farmer. But he has this beautiful, soulful voice that I'm always just like, Red, can you please just send this to me? And he's like, but he has everything under wraps.
That's what I wanted to ask, actually. What style of gospel, there's such a wide variance now,
So the gospel I grew up listening to, and, I guess it would be considered a more Southern Chicago style gospel. I grew up listening to a lot of Sam Cooke. And I guess it rubbed off on me.
For sure.
So
Leola and I have been listening to Sam Cooke since 11 years old. She used to play Sam Cooke on repeat as loud as it would go in the dorm. And it was pretty much the best thing ever.
I thought it was like the best music. And I didn't know that Sam Cooke had passed away until, I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's dead. Whoops. I'm like, this guy is the best new music. This is
Sam
long gone.
Sam was the blueprint. He was the blueprint.
Yeah,
he said a lot of.
But I would say Red has that soulful gift, and he puts that into his R&B music as well, to where it's just like you don't even realize that it's very two different sounds, but beautiful, soulful, not that falsetto that you would expect from someone his age, but beautiful music, beautiful.
Well, speaking of music, we're going to take a little break here in just a second, but I want to invite all of our listeners to call in with questions for our guests. So if you want to get on live and speak with Leola, Red, or Ron and ask them any questions, please call in to 909-792-5222, and we will take some questions from our audience. And in the meantime, enjoy this musical interlude.
Yeah, yeah.
20-something, we in love. We don't show it like we should. Life is crazy, life is good. We just so misunderstood. Live fast, die young, get it how we live it. It's a cold, cold world, everybody tripping. We don't know just how long it's gonna keep on spinning. Carpe diem on that, this is just the beginning. We don't play by no rules. Got no code, we so loose. They gon' say we confused, but life has options, we gon' choose. 20-something, we in love. We don't show it like we should. Life is crazy, life is good. We just so misunderstood. 20-something, 20-something. 20-something, just a bunch of 20-somethings. 20-something, 20-something. 20-something, just a bunch of 20-somethings. Roll one, sip one, get the party started. Forever young, ain't no time to be broken hearted. But even though we let go, we only get more guarded. Keep it going, push it forward, realign the target. We don't play by no rules. Got no code, we so loose. They gon' say we confused, but life has options, we gon' choose. 20-something, we in love. We don't show it like we should. Life is crazy, life is good. We just so misunderstood. 20-something, 20-something. 20-something, just a bunch of 20-somethings. 20-something, 20-something. 20-something, just a bunch of 20-somethings. Tell us nothing, you can't tell us nothing. Can't tell us nothing, cause we 20-something. Can't tell us nothing, you can't tell us nothing. Can't tell us nothing, cause we 20-something. 20-something, we in love. We don't show it like we should. Life is crazy, life is good. We just so misunderstood. 20-something, we in love. We don't show it like we should. Life is crazy, life is good. We just so misunderstood. 20-something, 20-something. 20-something, just a bunch of 20-somethings. 20-something, 20-something. 20-something, just a bunch of 20-somethings.
And all you do is brush it off, saying I got other plans, yeah. But just 2 days ago I woke up in your bed, never thought I wouldn't come back. I thought you'd always want, I thought you'd always want, thought you'd always want me to be there. But now she's all you want, now she's all you want, now she's all you want, and I'm still here. Wish I was her, I wish I was her. You were lying when you said that you didn't want the real thing. Didn't want the real thing. Only when you call when you're at home alone. Yeah, I'm just for your convenience. I thought you'd always want, I thought you'd always want, thought you'd always want me to be there. But now she's all you want, now she's all you want, now she's all you want, and I'm still here. Wish I was her, I wish I was her. You were lying when you said you didn't do love. Wish I was her, I wish I was her. Baby, why you choosing her when I can be enough? Wish I was her, I wish I was her. You were lying when you said you didn't do love. Wish I was her, I wish I was her. Baby, why you choosing her when I can be enough? I was ready to be your baby, but you just wanted something casual. You said I'm not ready, little unsteady, waiting for something more valuable. I thought you'd always want, I thought you'd always want, thought you'd always want me to be there. But now she's all you want, now she's all you want, now she's all you want, and I'm still here. Wish I was her, I wish I was her. You were lying when you said you didn't do love. Wish I was her, I wish I was her. Baby, why you choosing her when I can be enough? Wish I was her, I wish I was her. You were lying when you said you didn't do love. Wish I was her, I wish I was her. Baby, why you choosing her when I can be enough?
What's good, everybody? This is Krunkadelic from the ISET Hour with Heidi Waumboldt and Krunkadelic. If you're unable to tune in on Fridays live at 3 p.m. PST, come check us out at www.isethour.com or follow us on any of our social media at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at The ISET Hour.
That was McKenna, Wish I Was Her. And before that, Justin Aaron, 20-something. You can find McKenna on Instagram at I am McKenna and Justin Aaron at Justin Aaron, that's with 2 N's, and download their music, add to playlists, and they're on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, etc. We're back.
We're back and better than ever with our incredible guests. Hey, you guys.
We're still here. We're doing good.
Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to ask, Ron, I noticed that you have a partnership with Ray J called Embrace AI. Could you tell me a little bit more about that, what that's about?
Yes, that's basically that was a company we started in 2017, and it was brought to us from a partner that's no longer involved with us, but he introduced us to a space where I figured, he introduced me to the space, and then from there, I started thinking about people in my circle and who could help me in the Embrace line of business. So Embrace is a programmatic advertising company in which we serve tags to like major publishing sites. So like when you go on YouTube and you watching a video, and before that video comes on, you see an ad comes across, like an ad, a video ad that come on.
Right.
You have to watch or you can skip it. That's what we do. We actually programmatically do that for a lot of publishing sites that have a lot of traffic. So like Complex Magazine is one of our partners, Huffington Post, a lot of major publishers. So I needed a partner that was always in the media, that's always on a lot of publishing sites, because a lot of them won't know me, but they know him because they always have him on their blogs all the time. So he can go to them and say, hey, can we partner and serve you, tags, and we split the percentages and different things. So they felt comfortable because, obviously he's Ray J. So it was a thing that worked, and we just started going down the list. And every time he goes and do an interview somewhere, they end up becoming a publishing partner.
Wow. I mean, and that's really impressive because, I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I understand. And, and I have to ask you, what, made you just out of the blue, like, think that? Like, when was the aha moment that you were like, hey, I could do something with
In
this?
AI, why AI
Yes.
of all things?
Well, AI rules the world right now, right? I mean, that's where it's moving to, right? It's everything is, they starting to make cars where you can just drive without even driving. I mean, it's just you want to just it's the future, right? So it's artificial intelligence, and like I said, it was a match made, and Ray J, like I said, he's big enough to catch someone's attention, but not too big where he's hard to work with.
Right.
So it was just between that and also with the whole AI world and him starting the Raycon and stuff like that, and he's moving into the tech space at that time when we helped launch the Raycon headphones, which we've already sold over 1.5 million headphones now.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just a match made at the time, and the timing was perfect.
Beautiful.
That's amazing. Do you have one of those scooters that he came out with?
I have 5 of them.
I'm gonna need to talk to you after the show.
Scooters.
Yeah. We got this. Like, so it's funny because I tell a lot of people it's Ray J is like the inventor of a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. Not just brilliant. The Kardashian family, but Scooty bikes. Even with the Scooty bikes, he came out with that was over 10 years ago.
Right.
And when he was going to start to form things over, the Bird and Line came and started putting them all over the middle of the street. So it kind of so we had to reinvent a few things.
Right.
So like I said, like Scooty bikes, he's always been ahead of his time and very innovative.
Yeah, I agree. Very underestimated. I think he's brilliant. The amount of ideas that he's come up with, I mean, even just in terms of how he handles media and, with the shows and the production, I think that he's an extremely intelligent guy and very underrated. And especially to transition into the tech space, he's one of the few. So
it's so crazy because just yesterday I didn't know because they were comparing him to Nick Cannon and I forget who else was in the article. But they were saying who made more money from television last year. Mm-hmm. Well, Ray J for Viacom paid Ray J to do 70 episodes of different things on VH1 all last year.
Wow.
And all these other guys had about 2 or 3, right? He's probably one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. He stays up 22, 23 hours a day and comes up with an idea in the middle of the night and wants to put it in motion.
Wow.
And starts calling VH1 and calling everybody until it gets done, So it's pretty amazing.
And it's important these days, to diversify your income. I think I hear a lot of times about having, 5 different streams of income. And, speaking of new ventures, Leola, I know, has recently become a comedian and is going on a comedic tour. And I saw a clip, Leola, of you giving a stand-up right before the COVID situation began in Texas. Can you tell us a little bit about how funny you are and your best joke?
I think I'm hilarious, honestly. And I can make my dad laugh, and my brothers will all just shake their head like, oh my goodness, she's crazy. But yeah, I started going to stand-up comedy venues, and then COVID happened. And so then I was like, well, let's just transition this online somehow. And then everyone was getting on TikTok, and I had a YouTube channel. I have my YouTube channel, and that has my first stand-up performance on there. And what I just like to do is take every little thing and make it into something funny, because a lot of us are going through so much, especially being stuck at home for this whole time. So I was just like, let's just make it funny. Like anything you have that's sad or anything like that, turn it around and make a new story of it. So that's kind of how I started. And I've always been kind of funny, but I decided to put my all in it back in 2016. And then I went on stage for the first time in 2018.
What does it feel like going on stage for the first time?
Oh, I was shaking all over. Yeah. But I said once I got over it, once I did that first performance, then I knew, okay, well, now I'm going to be nervous every single time, and I'm going to make it work. And I spoke to my dad. I was like, when will this end? And he was like, I felt like that every single fight. And I was like, oh, so I'm just going to be nervous every day, like every time I get on the stage. But it's an invigorating feeling, and you feel like it's a natural high, if you will. And it's amazing, and I love it. And I love to try and make people laugh and think. But for the most part, everyone just goes, she's crazy. She is nuts. My favorite joke is how I took 6 weeks to ruin Game of Thrones from my former ex-husband. I mean, I took 6 weeks to just get all the information from all the blogs. And I went, we sitting down, and I started to talk to him, and I was like, oh yeah, Khaleesi. And he was like, what? And I was like, everyone dies. The whole show's over. Everyone dies. And I think that was the moment he thought, I can't be with this woman anymore. And I was like, I really took 6 weeks to ruin a TV show for you. So I don't know why I got divorced.
Well, perseverance is important in any relationship. And it sounds like you were adamant about getting that done. All of us here are parents, and we're all raising children. And I want to hear from each of you real quick before we sign off. What's the best thing about being a parent? Red, start with you.
Man, the best thing about being a parent, I would say, is just being able to see all the little quirks about yourself and, your partner and all those things. Every family member, you just see all those things in the faces of your children. It's different every single day. You get reminded of this person, one thing, one facial expression, you get reminded of your grandma. It's just such an amazing thing to be a witness to a child growing up right before your eyes. It's an amazing thing.
I agree with you for sure. What about you, Ron? What's the best thing about being a dad?
Best thing about being a dad, I say, is, just to be able to, like, for me, it's to give the kids a life that I didn't have, I guess, and to try to enhance on the things that my parents gave me. And so it's like, it's cool when I'm able to, when I'm blessed to be able to do certain things to show them the rest of the world and open their eyes bigger and things like that. Red hit all the other points on, so that would just add on to what I thought, is what's also a great thing for me for being a parent, is sharing the things, the fruit of our labor, and being able to see what they can become when they grow up.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. And Leola, what about you?
Well, as a mom, we do it all. And I would say my favorite part is that I get to make up stories and act as if I invented everything. And so my favorite thing about being a parent is like indoctrinating my kids into how I want them to think. So it's like, don't fall off a tree, because you'll have to stay home with me forever and ever, and you can't get married. So that's my thing, is like, that's to see just really that you have this mind of kids that you can mold and be who they want to be. That's my favorite part.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. It has been such a pleasure hosting you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you guys, too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Nice meeting you as well.
All right, guys, we're signing off.
This is the ISET Hour with Krunkadelic and Heidi Waumboldt. See you next week.
See you next week. More music.
Bye.
Must have been the way the wind blew. It's not a coincidence, it led me to you. taste and now you're making me bloom.